While on one hand you have the offensive support skills like Enchant and Thunderstorm, there are also the defensive support skills that can actually help give the Sorceress a nice set of tools to become a capable tank as well. And today we look at the first three of those, Frozen, Shiver, and Chilling Armor, which in addition to providing extra defense, actually have a nice set of side effects as well. Now, as far as what applies to all three of these armors, they are cross synergies with each other. Their skill levels and synergies are set when cast, though any mastery or item effects are based on when the hits occur, though the biggest and weirdest global effect that applies to all three of them is what they are exclusive to, since while you can use these with Cyclone Armor and Blade Shield, they are not compatible with Bone Armor or any of the other cold armors. So if you're a Necromancer using Fortitude or a Sorceress using Bone, you will find overriding will be a bit of a frustrating issue. But when you do use them, they can be pretty handy, even with the lowest level 1 Frozen Armor being decent. It of course gives the improved defense and such for its duration, but it also puts you in a position to retaliate against melee opponents by freezing them in place when they hit you. And while it does lose effectiveness thanks to duration penalties and higher difficulties, and just generally higher cold and chill resist reducing the duration, at least on the fun side, chill and freeze are separate effects, so if you have a long chill, it will still keep them slowed after they thaw out, and the freeze is super effective at handling small crowds. Moving down the tree though, we give up on the freeze and instead favor chill to go with our defense, starting with Shiver Armor, which, while giving fairly decent defense boosts, opts to give us damage retaliation rather than solely control like Frozen Armor. This means that, like Thorns, it serves a role as a retaliatory damage source as well, and unlike Thorns, it did not wait until 2.4 to do it on attack attempts rather than solely hits. Though, even though it did get a boost in 2.4, it's still strictly secondary amounts of damage, basically meaning you will hurt what hits you, but it's not going to be enough to reasonably kill things itself, at least not later on. Now, at the bottom of the list, we have something similar, but this time ranged, with Chilling Armor. Again, applying defense, cold damage, and chill, albeit only to ranged attacks. It does get a bit funky whenever you're trying to understand what it means by a ranged attack, especially since there are oddities such as Druid Arctic Blast or even enemy Infernos that don't trigger retaliation missiles, but the Frozen Horror and Neelathak Arctic Blasts actually do trigger them. There is also the weird hidden poison enchanted status that Akmel and Lilith have that can trigger them, even though you cannot see the missiles from the statuses actually hitting you. Needless to say, the list of does and does nots for triggering it can get pretty long and convoluted and would likely be confusing to list off, so instead I will be including a link to the Amazon Basin page down below so you can check it out, but if you're looking for a quick reference, just assume that traps or indirect fire skills won't trigger it, and that it will cover about 80% of the list, since only a few specific direct fire skills don't trigger it. That said, personally, I prefer the last one, Chilling Armor, but they all have their uses depending on your build and where you're going. And if you're using Fortitude, you will get it for free when hit, so it can be a lot of fun. Though, unless you're going for a pacifist build, I would recommend against going full tilt into any single one of them, since they can be a lot of points for, well, minimal damage. So stick with using them for defense and chill primarily, and focus on the other skills for the rest of the build. Though if you want some fun ideas for skills that can be used with it, click on the video on screen now, and as always, keep gaming, have fun, and peace out. This has been Alzorath. Bye.